Hey everyone! Today we talk about a headline that's been making the rounds on social media, sparking some pretty intense debate. I saw a post on X, formerly Twitter, from a channel called Dragon Watch that said something like, IKEA is pulling out of China and this is the new proof that the Chinese economy is collapsing. And honestly, it sounded dramatic, so I clicked. The video cited an official announcement from IKEA that as of February 2nd, 2026, they're shutting down 7 of their big warehouse stores in cities like Shanghai's Baoshan district, Guangzhou's Panyu district, Tianjin, Nantong, and Harbin. A user on Weibo, commenting on the closure news from the Global Times, lamented, "First the Harbin store, now this? My weekend meatball runs are officially over." The host then went on a long analysis about how this was a sign of the retail apocalypse in China, directly tied it to the country's crashing property market, and claimed the whole big box store model was basically on life support. The whole segment was framed as more proof of a China collapse theory the channel had been pushing for a while. Now, this felt a little sensational to me. A few months back, I did a deep dive on IKEA's global strategy, and a big part of that story was their rapid expansion in China and how Chinese consumers really embrace that clean, Scandinavian style. So I dug into some other sources, and sure enough, there's another side to the story. IKEA put out a statement saying this isn't about individual stores failing. It's a strategic transformation, part of their new Growth Plus strategy to, in their words, optimize costs and reallocate resources to build a more resilient foundation for future growth. And here's the kicker. At the same time they're closing these 7 giant stores, they're planning to open 5 new, different-sized stores in various locations. Over the next 2 years, as reported by the South China Morning Post, they're launching more than 10 smaller format city stores in places like Dongguan and the Tongzhou district of Beijing. They're moving into the neighborhoods, trying to get closer to their customers, even embracing a new localized brand slogan, 家给生活更多, or more home for life. So, no, IKEA is not pulling out of China. The video title was pure clickbait. But, and this is the interesting part, the video wasn't entirely wrong. It touched on a really important dynamic. The slowdown in China's real estate market is absolutely having a huge impact on the furniture business. As the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. IKEA isn't running for the exit, but the entire industry is definitely feeling the chill. For years, the real estate market in China was on an absolute tear. We're talking double-digit growth, massive construction projects, and a booming middle class buying up new apartments as fast as they could be built. IKEA's classic model was perfectly suited for that era. Their strategy was all about building massive, sprawling stores out in the suburbs. You had to drive an hour to get there, but it was a destination. New homeowners would go there to furnish their entire apartment in one go. That big store land acquisition model was built on the foundation of a red-hot property market. That foundation is now shaky. China's real estate sector has been in a slump for a few years now. Sales are down, prices are falling, and there's a huge inventory of unsold homes. People just aren't buying new properties like they used to. This shift has a direct impact on consumer behavior. As Tianlei Huang, a senior fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics, noted, the housing bust is central to China's current economic struggles, with a noticeable negative wealth effect from declining household housing assets weighing on consumer spending. So if you're not buying a new home, you're not buying a whole new set of furniture. The logic is simple. Who wants to drive an hour out to a suburb to wander through a giant warehouse when they're just looking for a new lamp, or maybe some storage boxes for their rental apartment? The game has changed. IKEA's strategy is shifting from waiting for people to come to them for a whole home makeover to actively going into communities and selling a lifestyle. They're changing their target customer from serving the new homeowner to serving renters and people who want to renovate or upgrade their existing space. This isn't a sign of the Chinese economy collapsing. It's a perfect little snapshot of the Chinese economy shifting gears. The old engine of growth, real estate, and construction is sputtering. The new engine has to be domestic consumption, innovation, and services. And only the businesses that can read those tea leaves and adapt are going to survive. When you strip away all the fear-mongering and emotional headlines, the real story is that the logic for foreign companies operating in China has fundamentally changed. Just like I talked about in my video a while back, IKEA actually understands the Chinese market very well, which is why Pontus Erntel, the president of IKEA China, recently called the country a place to test retail innovation. In a recent interview with China Daily, he added that the goal is to create an excellent omni-channel customer experience, seamlessly integrating their 34 remaining physical stores with their digital platforms on Tmall and the IKEA app. The old way was a land grab, build big and expand fast. The new way is about precision and efficiency, optimizing costs and getting embedded in the community. This point that a real estate slowdown is forcing businesses to innovate and transform their models is so much more valuable than just shouting that the sky is falling. It shows a market that's maturing, and it tells a much more interesting and complex story about the future.